So today I'm going to be ranking comics that you guys have suggested in my past videos, but before that, hey, my name's Alex and I just started reading comics about 6 to 8 months ago. I don't know too much yet. Feel free to leave a comment with comics or video suggestions that you would like to see in the future. I plan on making this a series, so the more suggestions the better. Whether it's indie, supers, or whatever, I'll probably read it and add your comment to the video. So if you could, like and subscribe, it helps a bunch. That way, when I upload a new ranking video, you'll know about it. So before I start ranking y'all's suggestions, I'm going to go over some of the comics that I've already read. Do you know how bad my taste is in comics? If you don't care about the ones I've already read and want to jump to the time on the screen to get straight to the new comic suggestions that I've received from viewers in the comments in the past videos. Also, side note, to be honest, I would put mostly everything in A, not to piss off anyone, but that would be so boring. So I'll be judging these based off of how much they made me care about the character, the overall story, the art, and other random minor things. So starting with the comics that I would never read again, I haven't encountered too many that I truly hated. However, Wonder Woman Earth 1 just wasn't what I wanted from a Wonder Woman comic. So I feel like the Absolute Edition is just a much better representation of Diana than this book. And as for my D tier to start, Robin's solo series, it was okay. I just didn't care for Damian at the time. So maybe I'll come back to that. And similar for Superman Son of Kal-El, it was okay. I like the tie into the Nightwing run with Tom Taylor. But other than that, it felt like it could have been done a little bit better. But I did like the art in these. And as for C, the comic that kind of started it all, the OG Ultimate Spider-Man, I really like this book, but it feels a bit dated to me personally. And I just think that I enjoy the new Ultimate Spider-Man more. So this kind of brought the rating down for me because usually I'd probably put this at a B, but it went a bit down because of that. Next is Green Arrow Year One. I like this comic. I feel like it's one of my favorite versions of Green Arrow, but because it's Year One, it's really short. And I'm like 99% sure there's no book that follows this. I'm pretty sure. So it felt very like short to me. Then I have the Titans. I've read a couple of the issues. It was cool to see the Titans I grew up with from the show updated. Also, I'm not a fan of the older comics, so don't shoot me. So I didn't really read the OG Titans run, but back to this one, it was just missing the hook for me during the solo issues, so I had to put it in C. DCKO is like a 10 for me, but also a 0 at the same time. It's so much fun, but it also pisses me off so much. I hate that stupid clown. I'm tired of seeing him, and I'm just new to comics, and I'm already tired of seeing him. So I can't imagine how some of y'all feel. But like I said, I really like how cool and fun the crossovers are though, so I have to put it in C for now. As for Ultimate X-Men, I love the art in the series, but it feels really disconnected, which makes sense. It's placed pretty far away from the stuff from the Ultimates, but I kind of got over the whole friendship is power type thing, so I wish there was a little more to this. And in the Amazing Spider-Man, I have last in C. I've only read like the first arc. I like it because it's fixing Peter Parker and some of his power scaling, but I've heard there's some like clone stuff happening, and Norman Osborn is Spider-Man right now, so I kind of dropped it, but I'll finish this soon and update this list. For B, we have Something is Killing the Children at the top. I really like this series. I've read the first 2 volumes, but I'm a little worried the story might get a little repetitive. So for now, I have it at a solid B, but like I said, I'll update these in the future. Now, next is Iron Man 2026. It only has 1 issue out right now, but I do like it so far, so it'll have to be a B for now until we get more issues out, just so I don't overhype it too much. Then we have Ultimate Wolverine. I like this one. The art's really cool, and I really like the Winter Soldier start to it, but I just feel like I have some other stories that I liked more, so this is just gonna have to stay a B for me. Similar to the next 4, I really like Tom Taylor's Nightwing run. I can understand why some people don't like this one, because it feels maybe bland, and Heartless as a villain is maybe not the most exciting villain, but I really like Nightwing and this run personally, so I'll have to put this at a B. And kind of similar to the Nightwing run, we have the DC Marvel Batman Deadpool crossover, and these Wonder Woman comics. They were fun and nice to read, but I feel like there's more comics that are a little bit deeper that I enjoyed a little bit more. So unfortunately, they're staying in B for me. For A, I got a lot of Batman in this row. Starting with Dark Patterns, I really like this early version of Batman, being a detective and showing him learning from new encounters. Batman's detective stories are some of my personal favorites, so I feel like A is a perfect spot for this. Then we have Batman by Matt Fraction. This is also an amazing series. I really like its episodic nature of the issues in this comic, and I feel like the art is just really fucking peak, and I'm really excited to see how it'll go. I think we're only 6 issues in right now, and I really am having a lot of fun with this. It does suck that Tim is leaving though, but hopefully we'll get his own solo series or something. And next we have DCKO Night Fight. I feel like this is a really nice love letter to Batman and his legacy with all of his Robins. And the last issue, number 4, came out recently, and genuinely I felt like it was so nice to see like all the Robins and all the other members of the Bat family kind of gather around to help Bruce get back into the DCKO tournament and kind of proving that he doesn't have to do things the way that the Heart Apocalypse wants him to do. By killing all of his children, he does the opposite and brings them in. And I really, really like that. And it's just like the perfect love letter to Batman and his legacy. Now for the new Ultimate Spider-Man. I love this comic. I've talked about this in past videos, so you can check that out if you want to. But one of my biggest complaints about this comic is the month-to-month timeline in this book. I wish there was a little bit more day-to-day Spider-Man stuff, like friendly neighborhood stuff, but because it has to stay in line with the Ultimates and keep up with that month-to-month time frame with the writing, I feel like we're just missing a lot of like I said, neighborhood Spider-Man stuff. So unfortunately, it doesn't make S for me, sadly, here. So Batgirl is next on the list. One of the most underrated characters in all of DC, I feel like right now. I really like this recent run. It's a solid A for me. I love the art and the story. And the story can be a little confusing from all the betrayals, but I feel like the overall story is good, and I'm excited for her to be back in Gotham. So I think this is a solid A for me. So we're starting to get to the absolutes now, and we have Absolute Martian Manhunter. I've only read the first volume. I need to catch up, but I love the art, and I may be a little bit dumb, but I feel a little confused when I read this comic. I'm not gonna lie. There's so much stuff happening, and it feels very trippy, but I really do enjoy the art. I think it's so different from everything I'm reading, but unfortunately, it's just not an S for me yet. So once I catch up, it will probably be an S. Now, for the S tier, we have the Ultimates. I've only read the first volume, but I really, really, really love this Elseworld. I need to catch up. I feel like just from reading like the first volume, in my head, this is just like one of the coolest ways to bring heroes together, and just seeing Iron Lad kind of like collect all these people. And I'm just really excited for this one. I need to really catch up because I feel good about putting it an S for me right now. But I hope I'm not overpraising this and not getting ahead of myself. So at the moment, I really, really love this one. So S for me right now, but if it drops, you'll see it updated in the next video. Next is Absolute Superman. This book made me realize how much I misunderstood Superman in general. And I love how human Kal-El is, even when he comes to Earth, to see how fucked it is, dealing with Lazarus and just being taken away from the Kents right away. It feels like it hurts. It's such a sad Superman story, I feel like, which I've also done a video on. So if you want to check that out, please do. But it really made me fall in love with his character. And then it made me realize that I'm missing out on some of the mainline Superman stuff. So eventually I'll get to those, but I have a huge reading list, unfortunately. So yeah, this is an S for me though. Now this may be out of left field, but Spider-Man Fake Red is by far one of my favorite Spider-Man comics. I feel like it just builds off of what the GOAT Stan Lee has always said. Spider-Man could be any one of us. And I feel like this comic, even though it's just a little one shot, perfectly shows that it really could be any one of us. And I love this comic. It's one of my favorites. And then next on the list is my favorite couple in all of DC, and that's Batman Superman World's Finest. Probably the peak and biggest part of my personal collection. I have 1 through 47, first print, A covers, all by Dan Mora, the GOAT. It's really just a fun series to read overall. Lighthearted, but can still have some moments where I'd just be crying. It's so sad sometimes. Really a great series. I can't wait for issue 50 when Dan Mora returns, even if it's just for one. DC, let that man rest though. And now for my final category that I feel like just beats out S, and it's my will reread multiple times. For me, when I read something, I'm good for like one time. But after that, I rarely reread some of my comics. Maybe like a specific issue or so, but never like the full run, unless I truly love them. And in this first category, we have Absolute Wonder Woman. This is just perfect in every way. I love the characterization of Diana. I feel like this is better than the main line, and I love the addition of magic and the Buster Sword. It is so fucking cool. I love it. Like, just make this mainline Wonder Woman. Get Tom King out of here. Who put Kelly Thompson on everything Wonder Woman? Please, I'm begging you, DC. And next on the list is more peak is Absolute Batman. This series is just hype all the way through. The fights are fucking sick as hell. And having Bruce be childhood friends with most of his rogues gallery is so sad in a cool way. It makes Bruce feel so vulnerable with most of his villains knowing his identity, and his mother adds another layer of things that Bruce is scared to lose. And the world building with Arc M is so scary. I fucking love it. So that's my current tier list of comics I've read. It's not all of them, but it's a good amount. So now you know how easily impressed I am. Let's get to talking and ranking y'all's comic suggestions. Side note, some of the comments left lists, so some of them I was only able to pick one from, but don't let this make you think that I won't read the rest. I just wanted to gather multiple, and any that I don't talk about will be in future ranking videos. So don't be scared to leave a list of multiple. Anyways, the first up in the ranking rankings is Batgirl from 2000, recommended by Jody, Prime, and Beansoft. So Batgirl is definitely one of those ones I should have read sooner, mostly because I read Batgirl 2024. So I was missing a lot of connections that she had built from the 2000s run. But ranking wise, I would put this at a high to mid B range. I feel like the first issues did so well to show change is possible, that you can move on from your past. I really like the arc involving Cassandra losing her ability to read body language when a psychic rewrites her brain, which lowers her fighting skills. Plus, the Alpha arc was also really good in my opinion. Basically, Alpha plants a bomb, loses his memory, they work together to defuse the bomb, but Alpha regains his memory, threatens to shoot Cass. Alpha gets away, but Cass is able to convince Alpha to change, and he defuses the bomb, proving that people can change. Now, sadly, this is where the dip kind of happens. I didn't enjoy the forced relations, and it seems like towards the end of the series, all the stuff that Cass learned and grew from was for kind of nothing. Also, side note, after some research, I realized that a lot of this was to make her a villain for the Robin series, so that's dumb. And yeah, if I excluded the last 33 issues, it would probably go higher for me, but unfortunately, looking at the whole series, it's sitting at a B range for me, unfortunately. And next we have Monstress, recommended by Grey Knight. This comic was actually really super interesting, but maybe I'm just stupid. I feel like there was a lot of different plots happening at once. I'm only in volume 1, so I don't expect to learn everything right away, but with all the races and social issues, I was a little overwhelmed, but after a second read through, I think I got more of a handle on what races there are and kind of like the power struggle and who's at odds with who. So I would put this series at a high B for now. This might change in the future, so I'll update these books, like I said in the beginning. But as for why I love this series so far, the fantasy steampunk kind of medieval style is so cool, and the art is just so amazing. Some of the best art I've personally seen in comics. For the plot, Micah, the protagonist, an Arcanic, which is half ancient and half human, with powers, breaks into a Kumai stronghold as a prisoner to get revenge on a lady named Yvette who betrayed her mother, and she kills her. Micah recovers like a small ancient piece, awakening a god that embeds itself in her missing arm. So the story is just really getting started for her. So unfortunately, I don't have too much to add at the moment. I have a lot to read. There's so many volumes out for this one because I think it's a little bit older, but I'll definitely keep this updated. Now for this next ranking, I might be in danger because that is Batman Year 1, recommended by Wisp, Ernesto, and Morty, and a couple other people. I apologize if I didn't see your comment, but I have this book at mid C for me. I'm not sure how people feel about this book. Don't hate me if I'm in the minority here. So I liked the book. Seeing his drifter persona was really cool because I know it from the Batman by Matt Reeves. So that was nice to see. And now I understand where he got his inspiration from. I also liked him kind of learning what it takes to be Batman, showing the huge learning curve that it takes to do that, even after all the training he had to go through with dealing with police and learning how to fight multiple people that do not care if their friend dies, apparently, and kicking this guy's ass for almost shooting a cat. But one thing I really fucking hate about this comic is Jim Gordon is cheating on his fucking wife. Like, what the fuck is happening with that characterization? I get he was dealing with a lot, like taking beatings from other police officers and whatever, but in what way does that make a character like Gordon, who stands on a higher moral ground compared to others, make him a fucking slime ball? This kills me. So sadly, it drops my ranking from like B to D. Wait, did I put this in D? I got crazy. Oh, I just mistyped. All right. So sadly, it drops my ranking from a B to C. Next in the trilogy is Batman The Long Halloween, recommended by Wisp, Ernesto, Morty, and Frick. I've had a lot of people online and in person recommend this comic also, and I feel like 9 out of 10 times confidently it's declared as like one of the top 5 comics for Batman. Not gonna lie, I was a little worried that it was overhyped and that it would let me down, but now that I finished the story, I can feel pretty good about putting this in S. This was a really cool comic to me. This is always like one of those must-read Batmans, I feel like. This book kind of checks all the boxes of what Batman is. The biggest one for me is a detective. This story did perfectly for me. He doesn't have to solve anything right away or get it perfectly. I just love that he's actively trying to solve like a detective. Now, for the overall plot, I love that a large part of Batman's rogues gallery is involved, and the introduction of Two-Face is really cool. He's like one of my favorites. So it led to a lot of cool interactions and team-ups, I felt like. And most of all, the questioning of everything and everyone and trying to guess and figure out who is Holiday. This was so much fun to read and just exactly what I like from Batman. So S feels solid for me. Plus, I love the Catwoman design. It did something for me. I don't know. Maybe I'm weird. I might be the minority for this one, but yeah. Next on the list is not Dark Victory, unfortunately. It is Batman DOA. I know this might be random, and sadly, I only had so much time to read and rank these suggestions, mostly because there's a lot of stuff going on right now. So unfortunately, I had to cut it short. And this was one of the suggestions that kind of caught my eye by Victor. It was the short one shot, and it didn't disappoint. I really liked this more than I was expecting to. My only thing was like, I didn't like the art. It's not my favorite. It's not bad. I just enjoy newer or cleaner styles typically, but I think that's just because I'm a new gen reader and I read a lot of like manhwa. So I like a cleaner style to my art most of the time. But story-wise, this was a fun, thrilling book with a plot of Batman that has 24 hours to live after being poisoned by Joker, Penguin, and Two-Face. It kind of explores what he would do with his last 24 hours, and he does exactly what he needs to do to save a little girl, even dealing with blackouts, throwing up, and hallucinations. I have this book at mid B. I feel like it shows exactly what I expect Batman to do. Not run away and look for a cure and disregard people that need saving. He accepts that this is it, and no matter what he does, he will save someone that is in need at all costs. Also, there's a little Tim disrespect in this comic, which is just unlucky. Calling Tim Dick, I know that's just gotta hurt, but Tim is like one of the smartest, if not the smartest Robin, and knows that Bruce is dealing with a lot. He's dying. Like, he's not feeling good. So, like I said, I was gonna read Dark Victory, but one of my pet ferrets passed, and I'm very sad. So we're dealing with that right now. But Dark Victory will have to wait, so I apologize. But yeah, that's the first of ranking comics that y'all suggest. I'll probably do this minimum once a month. So send me all the comics that you love or hate to make me suffer. Anyways, thanks for watching. I really appreciate all the support you guys give. Feel free to like and subscribe. Peace.